Once I've created my south elevation, it's very quick and easy to draw any of our other elevations by using projection lines. I'm going to draw the west elevation with you. It's on page 16, and it's pretty quick. I'm only going to use my memory twice on some numbers, and the rest of it is going to come from our actual plans that we already have created. Go ahead and take this external reference that you have up top and copy it over to the left. Remember, we are drawing this home, the entire project. So what I want to do is look at this home from a different view. Currently I'm looking in this right-hand view just up at our home. We're looking at it from the south. Over here, if I'm looking at it from the west, I want to be looking at it from this side. So I don't want to turn my head, I want to turn my drawing. Just go ahead and rotate your drawing from somewhere by 90 degrees. Make sure you type that in so it's exact. And so now if I'm looking at my drawing from this bottom edge up, I'm looking at my exact same home just from a different perspective. I'm going to move it up. It doesn't matter exactly where, just to where it's kind of in line with this one. What does matter though is that when I draw my west elevation down in here, that I don't move this once I start. So again, make sure you're in the layer of G-Delt medium. And what we're going to do is just draw projection lines. I know that if I look at my garage from this side, then my garage would start right there, and it would be this wide. Because well, that's my garage. And also, I know that if I look at my garage from this view, that the bottom of it would be in line with the bottom of that house, because I'm just looking at that garage. So if I trim these things off, what I'm actually looking at is that bottom U that we drew over here of this home. Now, for me to figure out how far up these walls go, if I was looking at this home from the west, I would be looking at this home from this side. If I were standing here, I would see the home, what I would be looking at if I were looking at it from this way. And so for me to look at the roof, I can just draw some projection lines out from the roof, and I know that my gutter would be that tall. The top of my gutter would be that tall, and the top of my roof peak would be this tall. Now, the only thing that I need to know is how far my roof overhangs my building. And if you're looking at page 16 on a lesson 5 document, you'll notice that it is 1 foot overhang. Right, if we measured out here from this wall to this line, we'd also find that we have a 1 foot overhang. Now we want to try to keep that consistent around the home. So for me to get my wall, my roof to be 1 foot beyond my actual wall, all I do is I offset my wall out by 1 foot. Do that for both edges. And then we're just going to use our trim command to clean up what we've got. I want my roof to look like this. So when I have my wall lines sticking out beyond it, I know that my wall is the inner line. I don't want to get rid of that. And I know that my roof itself doesn't stick down below my gutter. So I'm going to trim this side off. My gutter lines don't go beyond my roof. The top of my roof doesn't go beyond my roof. And I won't be able to see my wall inside my gutter or inside my roof. So I want to get rid of those. Right. The only math that we knew was that our roof overhang our building by 1 foot. Everything else was just projection lines. I drew 2 vertical lines down from my garage. I drew 4 horizontal lines over from this building. And then I offset out by 1 foot and trimmed up. Now, the other thing that we needed to remember, so there's only two things of math that we need to know, is that we have these trim boards. And these trim boards here are 5.5 inches long, or 5.5 inches wide. So I want to offset that line in by 5.5. And we have the side of our building drawn. Same thing for our upper second story. Now our second story is on this portion of our home. Well, if I simply draw a line down from the left side of that building, if I draw a line down from the right side of that building, so somewhere over here, I know I won't be able to see it in my garage, so I'm only going to go into my roof for now. Now, for me to find my 4 horizontal lines, the bottom of my house, the 2 sides of my gutter, and the top of my roof, I just need to look beyond my garage in this view. So if I were looking beyond it, what I would see is this building. And so all I need to do is draw my projection lines from the larger mass that we see on the right. Straight across, both top and bottom of my gutter. Be careful on this one though. Your gutter line is going to be so close to the peak of this roof, but it should be just above it. So when I come through, I should not be touching the peak of this roof. When I come over, I should be just above it. If I zoom in here, we should have a little gap, which we do. And then the bottom of this second story, remember, it's going to be raised. It's going to be raised up. Now it's not the bottom of my porch. It's the bottom of the house. So when I draw over my 4th line, I want to go from this point, right where the home touches the garage on the top side of that porch. Now I've got a few lines here that kind of look crazy. We're going to use a nice little trim to clean them up. I'm going to trim up this here, this there, and inside of my home. Now I don't want to trim up any of the ones from my roof just yet because I don't have my roof drawn. What I do have though is my 2 walls. I have to remember that my roof overhangs my wall by 1 foot. So I need to offset my walls outward by 1 foot both ways. And now I need to pay special attention and trim up just my roof. So when I do my trim on this left side, these lines don't stick out beyond my roof. And this roof line doesn't stick down below my gutter. Nothing sticks up above my roof. Now when I'm looking at my home, I won't be able to see my wall in my roof or my gutter, so I've got to trim up those 2 lines as well. Over here on this side is where it gets tricky. I've got so many lines right here. So many. I just need to know what is what. Well, again, this right vertical line here is my roof. And I know that my gutter and the top and bottom of my roof do not stick out beyond my roof. I know that nothing's going to stick up above it. It's this area here that I got to pay special attention to. The right line is my roof. The left line is my wall. I won't be able to see any of those through my garage roof. They're behind it. So what I need to pay special attention to is this little area. Right? My roof, again, the one on the right, comes down to the bottom of my gutter and it doesn't go beyond this line. So I want to trim off this little piece right there. And now this line being my wall, I won't be able to see it in my roof or my gutter, but I will be able to see it barely when I look over my garage roof and below my gutter. You're going to have this tiny little line right there. Right? The only math that I still need to remember is that my trim boards are 5.5 inches wide. I'm going to have those for both instances of my second story walls. So I'm going to offset this line here 5.5 inches inside. And then that little wall that we saw inside here, the little one, I need to offset it 5.5 inches to the left. All right, using that information, projections going across, lines going up and down, I want you to draw your other 2 elevations. You have 3 days to get all 4 of the outlines done. If you are getting into trouble, please post on our assignment and ask for student help.